Welcome into 360 Sports, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great day at Monday Night Football. We have a second doubleheader here. I am your host, Jake Gottwald. I'm joined by Jenna DiTrulio, Jacob Petracca, and Oscar Ariana. Guys, 4 weeks into the season, how are we feeling?
Been exciting so far.
Can't believe it's already been 4 weeks.
Goes by too fast.
I know.
Absolutely, and we can't wait to start talking some more football. Let's get into it. Obviously, last night we had potentially could have been game of the year. Did not end up being so. The Baltimore Ravens absolutely smoked the Buffalo Bills, 35-10. Derrick Henry pretty much had his way with the Buffalo Bills. 200 all-purpose yards. I mean, it's insane. Baltimore finally gets back on track after starting 0-2. What do you guys think of this game? Baltimore, we're happy seeing them back in contention. Are we nervous about Buffalo? What do you guys think? Jem, I'll start with you.
I'm really not nervous about Buffalo. It's only week 4. There's so many more weeks ahead of the season. I think Josh Allen's been playing good. I mean, you're bound to have an off game every once in a while. He just seemed nervous looking at him warming up. I do want to say the Ravens are back. They do travel to Cincinnati next week, though. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I mean, great teams get smacked in the mouth all the time. You remember years back, the Patriots, back when they used to be a real football team, they got smacked in the mouth 31-0 by the Bills in week 1 in 2003 and proceeded to win 2 straight Super Bowls. So we'll just see how the Bills bounce back. They've got a tough test next week against Houston, but I think they've nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I have to agree with both Gemma and Jacob. I mean, bad games happen. It's just the nature of the NFL. Josh Allen had an off game, but so be it. I mean, when you have a running back like Derrick Henry and he's producing like how he is, the Ravens are just going to be one of the hardest teams to stop. Obviously, the Bills go to Houston this upcoming week, and that's going to be a tough game. But I'm not worried about either team. I think the Ravens are good and the Bills are fine as well.
Yeah, I think you guys all hit it right on the head. It just proves that Derrick Henry continues to be an absolute dog. And, I think, like you guys said, Josh Allen, he'll be fine. It's a rough game. Didn't really throw any interceptions. It just kind of looked like they weren't in sync. Baltimore pretty much just executed the way they wanted to, and Buffalo just didn't have it that night. But, we'll see going forward. They both got some tough tests coming up. But anyway, let's move on. Going into tonight, we have 3 undefeated teams left in the NFL. Of course, Kansas City, whatever, they're inevitable 4-0. The biggest shocker, though, the Minnesota Vikings 4-0. I don't know who's had that one on their bingo card. And, of course, going into tonight's game, we have the Seattle Seahawks, who are 3-0, trying to join the 4-0 club. They take on the Detroit Lions. It should be an exciting game. But of the 3 undefeated teams we have left, who are you guys most impressed by?
I'm impressed by the Vikings. I mean, Sam Darnold has been a backup quarterback since he's gone into the league. So it's been actually really nice to see him playing well. I mean, he has a lot of good receivers that help him, of course, with Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in the league. But it is really nice to see the Vikings, be good even without their star quarterback they've had for a lot of years.
And I remember there were a lot of questions I dabble in fantasy football. There were a lot of questions as to whether Justin Jefferson was even worth drafting so high because of Sam Darnold. And as you can see, Sam Darnold has proven that. And you got to wonder if this is the real deal. Is Sam Darnold finally breaking out after 6 years in the league, or is this another Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullen situation that we saw with the Vikings last year, where they're good for a few weeks and then fade right back into obscurity?
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I completely agree that the Vikings are the most impressive undefeated team so far. Obviously, you do have to take into account that the Vikings coaching staff and Kevin O'Connell, I mean, they do make backup quarterbacks look good. But I don't know, something feels different with Sam Darnold than it did with Joshua Dobbs last year. And I mean, the Chiefs have scraped 4 wins, haven't been that impressive. And the Seahawks just haven't faced the same quality that the Vikings have. I mean, the Vikings beat the Niners.
Well, you got to remember that the Vikings very easily could be off this list. They had a 28-0 lead yesterday, nearly lost it to the arch rival Packers, which would have been nightmare fuel for Vikings fans.
That's true.
I think you hit it right on the head, though, Oscar. I mean, obviously, Kevin O'Connell comes from the Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. That guy knows how to coach offense. He's been one of the greatest young head coaches in the league, arguably one of the greatest coaches in the league right now.
Yeah.
And, the revival of Sam Darnold, similar to Geno Smith, they run him off, but he ain't right back.
Yeah.
But, all right, anyway, so let's keep it going. Obviously, as I talked about before, quarter season of the NFL, it's crazy how fast the league moves, 4 weeks in. We're just going to gauge it really quick. Everyone always loves to make these crazy bold predictions. So we're going to go around and tell everyone, let us know who your NFL MVP is 4 weeks in through the season. Gemma?
Okay. I think we're going on the board for this one.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. I've been on and off with this person for a while, but my MVP so far is Josh Allen. I have been probably the biggest Bills hater since day one. I'm from Western New York, shockingly, but this guy has been playing real football. It is so Josh Allen nature to be throwing turnovers left and right. He had one turnover last night. I think that was his first turnover in 4 games. He hasn't had a pick all season yet.
Very impressive.
Which is like in his nature to be throwing picks all the time. But I think he's been playing really good, especially with losing Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs. He doesn't have the defense that he normally has. Matt Milano's out. But I think he's been connecting really good with Shakir, with Keon Coleman. I mean, their running backs have been good too. So I would like to see Josh Allen play good because I think he's playing really good football lately, and I want to see it continue. He had an off day last week. Off day yesterday, but that's okay. Still love you, Josh.
I think it's a great pick, honestly, as you touched on as well. The turnovers have been the biggest part of Josh Allen's career. Everyone says, oh, he's electric. He's amazing. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league right now. But, he just is so turnover prone. He loves to make those crazy plays. But this year he's been very efficient. No
very
turnovers.
Accurate.
Yes.
Very accurate.
Very impressive.
Yes.
Very impressive. All right, Jacob.
All right.
What you got for us?
So my pick is a running back from the San Francisco 49ers. And no,
Really?
it is not Christian McCaffrey. That is because McCaffrey has been out the entire season. It was just revealed that he has Achilles tendonitis in both knees. So guess who stepped up in his place? And that's Jordan Mason. 160-yard game yesterday against the Patriots. That is his season high. He is just continuing to roll for the 49ers. He was undrafted in 2022 out of Georgia Tech. And it's the 49ers mojo, another diamond in the rough. You saw it with Brock Purdy. You're seeing it again with Jordan Mason. And if and when Christian McCaffrey comes back, that is going to be a dynamic duo if the 49ers choose to use them both.
It's interesting. Like you touched on, the 49ers, they're just great at finding running backs. I think it's crazy. I mean, if you remember back in 2019 when the Packers and the 49ers played in the NFC Championship game, Raheem Mostert had 4 rushing touchdowns. I mean, they just find running backs. Same with like Elijah Moore or not Elijah Moore. Who is it? The 49ers running back?
Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they just find quality players at all skill positions, and it's incredible. And Jordan Mason looks like another one. All right, Oscar.
All right.
What do you got for us?
So we already touched on this person before in this show, and as we know, MVP is a quarterback award, and it's Sam Darnold. I mean, he has the Vikings rolling at 4-0. He leads the league in touchdowns. He has 11 touchdowns. He's only behind one person in yards per attempt, which is Brock Purdy. He's utilizing Justin Jefferson. I mean, that connection is insane so far. And he's doing it with Aaron Jones in the backfield too. Aaron Jones has been such a huge addition to the Vikings this offseason, and he's helping Sam Darnold out. And I mean, there's nothing more to say. He's got them rolling. I would have picked Josh Allen if it wasn't for the stinker last night. But that's just the state of the game right now in week 4. So, yeah, Sam Darnold, he's up there.
It's not bad. It's a good pick. I can't believe it. It's Sam Darnold. Who would have thought? He's leading MVP candidate. That's crazy.
He's been like a consistent backup his entire career.
Right. It looks like he's back in USC form. It's just crazy.
Maybe there was some lag. Like nobody told the 2018 draft class to actually be good. I mean, you saw it with Baker Mayfield. It took him forever to find his spot in Tampa Bay, and now he's delivering. So the number 1 and the number 2 picks are finally delivering as promised, though not for their original teams.
Cleveland did do him dirty, though. And
I don't
know if you guys saw NBC last night.
You know what? I think they're paying for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Even you're seeing Saquon Barkley go off and be back in his Penn State type of element than with the Giants.
I don't know if you guys saw last night too. They did Josh Rosen totally dirty on NBC. Collinsworth said he was working at some business school.
See.
I mean, you didn't have to throw that. You don't have to do you don't have to do him like that. I mean, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield having their resurgences, but I digress. Anyway, let's move on. My pick for your 4 weeks in way too early overreaction MVP. This guy is an absolute dog. I was probably going to go with Gemma actually and pick Josh Allen, but I'll give it to this man right here. Derrick Henry, 480 rushing yards, 525 all-purpose yards, and 6 touchdowns. That's insane. Through 4 weeks, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Ashton Gentry at Boise State, a little bit of that like crazy start to the season. And, for running backs, I get it. Like it's a quarterback award, it's a narrative. But let's have some variety. I want to see Derrick Henry get back up there, having maybe possibly another 2,000-yard season. Probably all purpose, not all rushing. But, Derrick Henry's been an absolute beast through 4 weeks. He's progressed to get better each week through the season. Through the first 2 games, it was a little bit rough with Kansas City and the Raiders. But, especially last night against Buffalo, just running all over them. He's been rubbing roughshod, looking like he's back in 2019 form with the Titans, where they ran all the way to the AFC Championship game. and he's going to be exactly what they need. Him working with Lamar on the read option is absolutely beautiful to see. It's great football. Obviously, the offensive line loves it. But yeah, for me, Derrick Henry. And look, I get it. It's a quarterback award, but let's have some variety. That's why the Heisman Trophy's always been more interesting than NFL MVP. It's not a narrative award. It's give it to the best player possible, and right now it's Derrick Henry. He's the man.
I absolutely agree that we need to factor in more non-quarterbacks. Like at some point, you just have to create a second award just for quarterbacks because it's insane. Because I think Christian McCaffrey was robbed.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Last year.
I agree.
Absolutely, totally robbed of the award.
Lamar had a very
Yeah.
good, efficient year last year, but I no quarterback I don't think deserved it. I think Christian McCaffrey definitely deserved it. I mean, he came into the Niners offense, and he made it somehow better than it already is, which just as an Eagles.
And that offense is already stacked.
Yeah.
Too.
A lot of pitchers were winning MVP in baseball. That's why they made the Cy Young Award. So I think they should make a Quarterback of the Year award in addition to the MVP.
That's a great point.
I mean, we talk quarterbacks too. One thing with offense, but like, let's get some defensive love. So I mean, I think
That's another
JJ Watt was the last guy in 2014 that had even a shout for the award.
Yeah,
I mean,
wasn't he second that
yeah,
year?
I think so.
Yeah.
Behind Aaron Rodgers, and most people thought he was snubbed
Yeah.
for the award. He had 5 touchdowns as a defensive player. I mean, hey, give some love to Aiden Hutchinson. The man's got 6.5 sacks already. Come on, let's give some love to the defenders. But anyway, let's move on. We're going to go into building some NFL offenses. Obviously you've seen the Instagram and TikTok trends, building a list. You got $15 between the three of you. You guys are going to build your offense, and I'm going to grade it, see who gets the best. We're going to start off with quarterbacks. Gemma, you're up first.
Okay. Whew, I'm scared for this.
So you see we got Patrick Mahomes, $5, Joe Burrow, $4, Jaden Daniels, $3, Trevor Lawrence, $2, and Danny Derps, $1.
I gotta go
Daniel
with
Jones,
I gotta
bad.
go with my guy Joe. I gotta go with my guy without a doubt and going Joe Burrow.
Joe Cool. There we
Gotta go with my guy.
Mr. Slim Shady himself. They've had a little bit of a rough start this season. I mean,
They always
the
do.
Bengals
They
always
always
the
do.
Bengals always
They
do.
always
They
do.
always start slow, but Joe Burrow, he's, in my opinion,
He's played good.
Behind Patrick Mahomes is the second clutchest most clutch quarterback in the
And
league.
he's him and Tom
Stafford.
Brady, the only one beating Patrick Mahomes in the
It's true.
playoffs.
It's true.
Let's do it
I
again.
will say only one team since 2000 has made the playoffs after starting 0-3. That was the 2018 Texans. They were immediately sent on their merry way, bounced in the first round. So the history is not on the Bengals side here, but let's see what they can
also
do.
started bad in 2021 and they still made the Super
That's true.
Bowl.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
Hey,
don't doubt.
we got faith in Joey B. He'll get it
I
done.
got faith in my
All right,
guy.
Jacob, up to you.
You know what? I think I'm going to take Jaden Daniels here.
Okay, all
I
right.
think he's got a lot of potential. He's starting to show some life. I think he's a steal at $3.
Absolutely. I mean, it's weird. We talk about not wanting to overreact to young rookie quarterbacks. Either we say that they're amazing or they're terrible. And we just had C.J. Stroud, arguably the greatest rookie quarterback season ever. And it looks like Jaden Daniels. I mean, I don't want to overreact, but he might be heading that way too. I mean, and as an Eagles fan, I hate that because it scares me. I've always been able to laugh at the Commanders, but not anymore. I'm excited for when that game comes up. But that's a great pick. Absolutely. But go ahead, Oscar. Who are you thinking?
I'm going to have to agree with Gemma. I mean, Joey B is Joey B.
Oh, actually, you got to pick someone else.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's one choice up there. I think you could.
I'll take Patrick Mahomes.
There you
I
go.
mean,
Yeah.
it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. I mean, there's one more you can say. It's great.
I like that pick because with Patrick Mahomes becomes an additional
You got the
bonus
refs on
of-
your side.
Yeah,
You
that's
got
what I
the
was
refs
gonna
on
say.
your side.
And you got
15%,
and you got the Swifties on your
15%
side
additional
too.
increase in referee calls.
But Mahomes is just the greatest. You can't deny greatness.
I mean,
Maybe.
it's hard to argue right now.
Yeah.
Still too close to
Aside
call.
from Stafford and Aaron Rodgers, he's the only starting quarterback in the NFL right now that has Super Bowl wins.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. I mean, all the great quarterbacks of the past that we watched have all pretty much retired. The only ones we got left are Stafford and Rodgers of that old era.
Yeah.
Mahomes, and now it's Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, all those guys just trying to make their case that who can take down the Chiefs. And please, let's not have
We
a
don't need a three-peat. I was going to say,
do
we do
not
not need a
We do
three-peat.
not need it.
No.
I do not need a three-peat.
All right, but anyway, let's move on. Now we're going to go into our running back spot. Jacob, you're up first.
Running backs
Or receivers.
wide receivers. You know what?
Well, as you lied to me.
You know what? Give me Nico Collins for
Nico
$4.
Collins, okay.
He's leading the league in receiving yards. I think it's a solid pick.
I know. I think it's a great pick option too, as well. Because I thought, I was a little concerned thinking about what would it be like when Stephon Diggs arrived in Houston. Obviously, he's been a number one receiver his whole entire career, even though he shared with Adam Thielen.
Right.
And in Buffalo, he was the man until Josh Allen started throwing to Gabe Davis, which probably upset him. But he's still the leading receiver in yards this year, despite having Stephon Diggs there. So I think it's a great pick.
The only reason I'm not taking Justin Jefferson is the injury problem. I mean,
I don't know if it's
Yeah.
that
I don't know.
unreliable. Yeah, he's still really
Yeah.
early. He's still really young, and he still had 1,000 yards last year,
Obviously.
despite all the injuries.
Yep.
But it's a good pick nonetheless.
Yeah.
All right, Oscar.
All right, I'm gonna go with the rookie Marvin Harrison. I mean-
Don't mind.
Week 2, he cooked my Rams really bad in the first quarter. I mean, there's been kind of a trend where he pops off in the first quarter and then kind of falls off later. But I mean, he's just a great talent, and I'm excited to see what he does moving forward. And I'm picking him.
You know,
$3.
my dad had to mute Penn State game. The Penn State game against Ohio State. He was tired every time they said the name Maserati Marv. He was so exhausted.
Gus Johnson
Maserati.
loves that. Gus Johnson eats that up.
He is Mr. Ohio State. He loves it. Yeah.
Guys, I'm just gonna go with Justin Jefferson.
There you go.
I'm just gonna go with Justin. I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
you
Like
got-
I have to. I
you
feel like
got-
running
you
backs.
can't leave him on the board.
Running backs gonna play safe. I could take a $1 running back, and I'd be happy with
Yeah.
that.
I don't know if you saw the Netflix receiver. You got Jefferson and you got Jets. You got two people. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I do.
You got Jets.
And I love
You
Justin
got the- you
Jefferson.
got
I
the
love.
man.
See, I got my LSU team.
There you go.
I got
Yeah.
my LSU team.
that's
Give me an
collection.
LSU running
Yeah,
back.
we'll see. All right. All right, running backs. Now here we go. Oscar, you're up first.
I'm gonna take Derrick Henry
All right.
with the 5. I mean, you saw what he did last night. You saw what he did the week before. Derrick Henry's a monster, and I want him on my team.
It's a great pick.
That's
I
it.
mean, yeah, he's leading rusher in the league so far. Tied for the most touchdowns. So yeah, where it all works out.
Yeah.
You got a pretty solid team. I guess Gemma, you got
I'm taking Tank Bigsby.
Tank.
All
Big-
right.
Okay, all
I
right,
think that's
okay.
my Auburn guy. Is that my Auburn guy?
I'm not sure.
You think go to Auburn?
We need Chooch. We need the college. We need
I
the
think
college
he
team. We
went
need
to
Chooch. We
Auburn.
need the
I think
college
he
team.
kind of
Yeah.
ran. Yeah, he went to
Auburn.
Auburn. I
Okay.
remember him in the whiteout game a couple years ago. I like him. I'm gonna take Tank. I gotta play it safe with $1.
No, honestly, that's a smart pick. You know, I think him and or Travis Etienne, they've been splitting carries a lot recently. Obviously, Jacksonville, they've had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But they do have a solid duo at running
They
back.
do.
And Tank Bigsby, honestly, could be in position at some point. You know, Travis Etienne's had a couple injuries here and there. He got, tore his ACL in his
Mhm.
rookie season. So he's a good running back to have, and it's a solid option.
Yeah, I really enjoyed him in college, so
There you go.
I'll take my guy Tank.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
Jacob.
just give me Saquon Barkley.
There you go.
Gotta get the Penn State guy in here. I didn't get him in any of my fantasy leagues this year. I was kind of sad about that, but I'm gonna take him here. I mean, he had that great first game in Brazil against the Packers, and hopefully he just continues to produce because I like seeing the Penn State guys do well in the NFL.
There you go. All right, now just to remind everybody really quick before we go into this last round, Gemma, you got $9
I have
left.
less than 9 left.
I think it's not.
4, 5,
I believe
9,
so. No.
and then $1.
Oh,
Yeah, I spent $10.
Did you? Oh, well.
I got $5
$5.
left.
All right, yeah,
That's solid.
All right,
I'll
there you
take
go.
that.
Yeah. Jacob, you got $4 left, and Oscar, you got 2. So yeah, here we go into the coaches round.
Oscar's just taking the big
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, here we go. Coaches, here we go.
$4.
I guess this segment, well said free for all. So have at it.
You know what? I got to use all my money here. Give me Kevin O'Connell.
There
If
you
that
go.
man could figure out Sam Darnold, he can figure out anything. Give me Kevin O'Connell's my head coach.
Give me
I'll take
Robert
it.
Saleh. I don't even want Andy Reid.
Really?
I don't want
no.
Andy Reid. Give
Wow,
me,
crazy.
guys, I don't like the Chiefs, so I don't want to take anyone
I
from
know
the
you don't like
Chiefs.
the Chiefs.
I mean,
but
it's
come
one
on.
thing. It's biased, but I mean, Andy Reid's the man.
I
Yeah.
don't
You get free
care.
cheeseburgers.
Robert
with it.
Saleh seemed like a great guy. He just seems like he really likes his team. When they won in overtime against the Bills, he ran out there and jumped into that pile with everyone.
I mean, I'll give Saleh this. He's a great defensive coach. So far, as a head coach, he's been, we'll say average at best.
Like what-
As
like-
right now, I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's crazy you do it out of your hate for the Chiefs. I understand.
I
but
can't do it to
You know-
myself.
you know
I go
Matt
against all my
LaFleur- you know
beliefs.
LaFleur's
I was
on
actually
board,
debating
right?
between Matt LaFleur. I also think he's like very cute too, and like my dad's a Packers fan.
Okay.
But after that performance yesterday with the Packers, I think the Packers are kind of a mess right now.
All right.
All right, well,
But-
Oscar,
All right.
your
That-
choices. I guess that
that
leaves
leaves me with
leaves you
just
now
Sirianni.
Mr. Nicky Sirianni.
Which
Boy.
Mahomes can coach the team. It's okay.
Mahomes did coach. He probably already
He
knows.
probably
Yeah,
will.
yeah.
He's
He
already
probably
drawn
already
up.
does the
He's
cheat.
drawn up plays in the sand already.
Yeah.
So
No, he's just out here making calls. Hey, how much do I got to pay you guys this week?
As an Eagles fan, I think we might be heading for a new coach in the next season. We'll see. We have the bye week
Yeah,
coming up, but
he
that
looks tired.
collapse-
He looks tired.
That collapse.
He always looks
He
tired.
looks tired.
It's because the Eagles collapsed last year.
Yeah, that
reminds
last
me.
collapse
He,
was
he,
horrible.
remind, he
I love
reminds
it.
me
Yeah,
more
it's
of a
cool.
fan, not really a coach.
Yeah.
He's got the
Okay.
vibes of a Philly fan, which I love.
It's like they
Right.
picked him up from like a game. Like he was like
Yeah.
in gear, and
He
they're
was
like,
on
"Hey,
the
you should be
stand.
the
He was
coach."
probably
Yeah.
hanging, he was probably hanging down to Angelo's, and they picked him up and said, "You want to come
Yeah.
coach the Eagles?" And they were like, "Yeah,
sure.
let's go."
Exactly.
Let's do it.
All right, well, here we're going to review your guys' team. So, Gemma, you ended up with Joe Burrow,
Okay.
Tank Bigsby,
Uh huh.
Jay Jettas, Justin Jefferson, and Robert Salah. Jacob, you ended up with Jaden Daniels, Saquon Barkley, Nico Collins, and Kevin O'Connell. And Oscar, you end up with Patrick Mahomes, Derrick Henry, Maserati Marv, and Nick Sirianni. This is honestly a tough decision. I like all these teams. I think each of them have a little bit of tweaks, a little bit of problems. But for me, the winner, I'm going to have to give it the win to Jacob.
Really?
I think,
even with Mahomes ref tax,
even with Jaden Daniels being a young player, obviously Saquon, one of the best running backs in the league. I like that. Nico Collins, a young stud wide receiver. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. Kevin O'Connell, I think again is one of the best coaches in the league. You can get the most out of everyone. Yeah. And him with Jaden Daniels, I think would be unbelievable. So congratulations, sir. You are the winner.
Thank you.
I do not care about what these frauds will tell me. I know what
Oscar,
I know.
You would have been my winner. You would have been my winner.
Thank you. I'm my own winner too.
All right, fair enough. All right, well let's move on here. Enough of that shenanigans. State of the NFL. Obviously, we talked about 4 weeks in, but this is why we love the NFL. So much parity, so much craziness, so many rule changes, so many different things have been going on. So pretty much we're just going to go around everyone. You're going to say something that you've been absolutely excited or impressed by, whether it's a player, coach, team, some kind of rule change, and something that has absolutely made you so angry that you want to scream at the TV, pull your hair out, and never watch football again. Gemma, we'll start with you.
So something that's impressed me a lot is Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. I was kind of a bandwagon Bucs fan when Tom Brady was on the team and led them to a Super Bowl. But I think Baker Mayfield has been such a great leader for the team. I think he's really connected with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and all of them. He's only thrown 2 picks, 8 touchdowns, a 70% completions rate. I think he played great against the Eagles. I know the Eagles have kind of a lot of injuries. It was really hot yesterday, but I really enjoy seeing Baker Mayfield. They almost beat the Lions last year too. So I think this is a really solid team that can go really far.
It's a huge indictment on Jimmy Haslam of the Browns. They just let him go for essentially nothing, and now he's performing in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. And I've never really been a Baker fan, but I'm a Baker fan now, I will say. Something that's not impressed me, I wouldn't say this made me scream at the TV and pull my hair out. I don't like these new overtime rules. I was watching the Lions game week 1, and I didn't even know about these new overtime rules, and the game was over. Yes, I loved the Lions winning, but I was like, I want to see the Rams get the ball.
Yeah, I want to see them get the ball.
I want to see, them fight it out.
You wish to carry it over as well with the playoffs.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is bringing me flashbacks to the Bills game with the 13 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I want to see both teams try to fight it out. You know what I mean?
The Rams would have stole that game too.
I'm glad the Lions won. Don't get me wrong, but I want to see both teams have a chance. Then it'd just be up to a coin toss at this point.
Right.
I think it's unfair.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob, what do you got for us?
So I'm going to start out with the positives. The Giants wide receiver core. I think they're very exciting. Obviously, Malik Neighbors, first player in NFL history, 25 receptions and 3 touchdowns in his first 4 games. He did have a concussion. He said he was all good after the game on Instagram, but we'll have to see how that progresses forward. 21-year-old out of LSU, top 10 pick in this year's draft, and he's playing like it. Shout out to Wan'Dale Robinson as well, 2nd-round pick in 2022 out of Kentucky. He's 4th in the league in receptions. Neighbors is leading. And if those two can perform and the Giants can solve that $160 million black hole under center, it'll make my grandfather very, very happy. I've always had a soft spot for the Giants, even though they did beat my Patriots in 2 Super Bowls. But that was before I was watching football, so I'll let it slide.
Hey, the Giants, man, they love those LSU wide receivers.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham, Malik Neighbors now passing the torch.
Yeah. I think I'm going to move on to my negative. It's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Thank you.
It is the Kansas City.
You.
Every single week, it's a lucky break. It's a toe. It's a missed field goal. It's a crucial defensive pass interference call.
They should be 0-4 right now.
They could be 0-4 right now. Seven straight wins by 1 score. They're getting breaks all the time. You could talk about the refs. You could talk about Taylor Swift. I hate it. I don't like seeing her. I don't like seeing her at football games.
And you know what makes me upset? The NFL, it's a script. They want to see Travis and Taylor kissing under the confetti come Super Bowl night. I'm done. I'm over it.
I agree with you. I had no opinion about Taylor Swift before she started showing up at football games and in ESPN articles. And now it's just I'm tired of seeing it.
I cried when they won the Super Bowl.
I
cried.
I knew they were going to win the Super Bowl the second Tyler Bass missed that field goal. I'm like, all right, they're going to beat the Ravens next week. They're going to win the Super Bowl. This is confirmed.
It's a script.
Now I think one thing's interesting is that Mahomes is yet to have 300 yards in a game. He did come close in week 1 at 291. He does only have a 6-5 touchdown ratio in a game. Now, I think Chiefs might be going 20-0 because only the 49ers, the Bills, and the Texans are in their way, I think. I don't think anyone else can beat them.
Don't even tell me that right now.
I mean, I'm a Patriots fan. I would rather see the New York Jets win the Super Bowl
Me
than
too.
see the Chiefs win a third
Me
straight.
too.
It's that's how far the Chiefs have broken.
Did you say they were wearing Travis Kelce's shirts
Yeah.
in support of him?
Oh
Like,
my-
just because he hasn't
Not
been
because
getting the
he's
ball.
hurt. Nothing happened.
No, just because he had, I mean, he did have a breakout game last night. Doubled his receiving yards, but
All right, Oscar, what do you got for us?
All right. What I really like so far this season has been the introduction of Guardian caps. There you can see JOK
Ooh,
wearing one.
okay.
Mhm.
For me, player safety is the most important thing. It's gonna, in the long run, it's gonna keep the product on the field elite. Because what are we gonna do if all our favorite players are hurt?
That's a good, genuine take. I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever
Yeah.
seen anyone say that. Good on you, man.
So yeah, the well-being of the players, that's like what's in my mind. It's pretty cool to see. And then what I haven't liked this season is a very specific player on the San Francisco 49ers, Mr. Brandon Ayuk.
I love him.
Brandon Ayuk held out
Hey, I'm
this
for it.
offseason.
I'm for the hate. I'm for it.
And he held out, and there was a blockbuster trade with the Patriots in the works, and then he kind of shot it down because he didn't want to go to New England.
fair.
There was so many contract talks, even with the Commanders, and I mean, look at the Commanders right now, and he turned that down. So there was just a lot of stuff in play, but he ended up staying. The Niners gave him a 4-year, $120 million contract, $76 million guaranteed. And through 4 weeks, he hasn't done much.
I know.
He has 0 touchdowns. He hasn't gone over 50 receiving yards in any game. He has 167 yards so far, receiving yards so far this season, which is on pace for just under 700.
Jawan
on the
Jennings has
whole
been their
season.
best receiver.
Yeah, and exactly. And he's been outplayed by Jawan Jennings. Debo's there too. I mean, Debo's always there. Kittle's been kind of hurt, but he's been producing around the same
He
level
just
as
had a
him.
touchdown.
Yeah, and Christian McCaffrey, he's hurt. He's not even taking those passing opportunities away because he's a great receiving back, and he's still not producing. So
You
I don't know.
I'm hoping this is gonna help beat the allegations that Brock Purdy's a system quarterback. I've always thought that he's been in an unfair situation because if he wins, it's because of the talent around him, and if he loses, it's because he's Mr. Irrelevant. But
So I think if you're going to hold out and do a bunch of drama in the offseason, you got to show out when the
Yeah.
season starts. And he just hasn't through a quarter of the season. So that's my beef with Brandon Ayuk.
All right. Yeah. So quickly, I'll just hit my points really quick. Thing I've been most impressed by is Kevin O'Connell as a head coach. Obviously, the Vikings, they had a rough season last year, started off 0-4. They lost Kirk Cousins to Achilles injury. They had 4 different starting quarterbacks, which is crazy. And, they managed to finish 7-10 with a negative 18-point differential, which is unbelievably amazing. And, this year they started off 4-0. Kevin O'Connell's got Sam Darnold playing back in MVP form. He goes back like he's at USC. And not to mention this as well, they've beaten the 49ers, the Texans, and the Packers. That means Kevin O'Connell has wins over Kyle Shanahan, DeMeco Ryans, and Matt LaFleur. That's unbelievable. I think this man's going to be one of the greatest head coaches in the league for the next 10 years. And it makes me jealous to see, but I'm very happy for Vikings fans because they have to go through so much. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. And for the thing I'm disappointed about, I have to grab that to my own team. It's the Philadelphia Eagles defense. There is no discipline in this team at all. It is absolutely atrocious. I think they said there were, I believe, 10 missed tackles against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What are we doing? This is absolutely atrocious. The Eagles are ranked 22 in points given up and 24, 29th in total yards given up, 365 yards of offense by the other team on your defense. That means 3 teams are worse than you. What are you doing? That is a mess. I was so close to turning off the TV. It made me so upset after that big win that Penn State had on Saturday. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was disgusting. I was so mad. I want to be done with it. Let's just move on. I can't take it anymore. It's 6 sacks. That's it. No pass rush. No nothing.
That's the Eagles for you.
Nothing. All right. Anyway, before we wrap it up, here we go. Monday Night Showdown. Of course, we have our second doubleheader of the night, or of Monday Night Football. We have the Tennessee Titans taking on the Miami Dolphins, and the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Detroit Lions. Seahawks trying to remain undefeated and go 4-0. Any of you guys got any big predictions for tonight? What do you think about these 2 games?
I mean, I think the Lions. I like the Lions and the Dolphins. I think
I like the Lions.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I agree.
that's my pick.
Might be a toss between Titans and Dolphins.
I think,
Yeah.
I think
You
it's
never
going
know.
It's hard to pick an
It's hard
0-3
to
team.
pick,
It's
yeah.
hard to pick an
I think it's
0-3
going to be
team.
an ugly game. I mean, we've got
Yeah.
Tyler Huntley coming in. They just picked him
I'm
up.
probably not going to watch that game. Probably
Yeah.
just going to watch.
They're going to
Lions
be they're going to be
game.
big on Devon Achane. I'm thinking 100 scrimmage
Yeah.
yards for him. Big night for Devon Achane. And we'll probably get another 4th week in a row. Great meme from Will Levis.
Yeah.
Either the recreation of the butt fumble or a 90-yard touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins. Because why not?
I have a bold prediction. I think he'll get benched tonight for Mason Rudolph.
Really?
Yeah, because Brian Callahan he's already expressed his frustration with him.
He has
Yeah.
And like they have Mason Rudolph.
He has
out
had
there,
enough
so,
of Will Levis.
yeah.
He's had enough of the
Exactly.
shenanigans.
I do need a 10-point game from Devon Achane, so I like that prediction.
Yeah, I think so. And then last thing I'll say, the Lions, I think they finally cut off the Seattle Cinderella story. I say
Yeah.
they'll win by 2 touchdowns. Detroit.
Let's hope.
All right.
Big win for
Let's
them.
hope. I love
I like it.
Detroit.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow, same time. We got a great show, NCAA college football. I've been your host, Jay Gottwald. This is Gemma DeTulio, Jacob Petraga, Oscar Rama, and thank you guys for joining us. And remember, enjoy your football Mondays.